In this week's episode, PlayStation attempt to stall the Microsoft Activision acquisition yet again.
Could we be set to see some new gaming hardware launch before the end of the year?
And a major streaming service is set to close. I'm Barry.
And I'm Anthony, and this is episode 68 of the Retro Gaming Dads podcast, the podcast for everything retro and retro-inspired.
As always, before we start, I'd like to say a massive thank you to our Patreon subscribers, Short Gizmo and Bobby Socks. As always, your support is greatly appreciated.
You would, you mean we would?
No, just me personally.
All right, whatever. I'm also thankful, but I don't know.
You know
We're both
what
very
I mean.
grateful.
Shall we, in typical fashion, go through what we've been playing this week?
Yes, we shall. And we had the pleasure of having a gaming night on Friday night, and we went through quite a lot of retro games, didn't we?
Yes, and we had a right giggle playing Micro Machines 96.
We did. I forgot how much you and Phil love to try and ram people off the board. That drove me insane.
In all fairness, most of the time it turns out badly for us.
Yeah, you launched yourself lost. No, but I won one map of all those races. One round of those races. Because the amount of times GT just...
You gotta admit, there is plenty of... I'm trying to think of a nice way to put it, but the only word I can think of is... going on in that game.
Hey, in all fairness,
Somehow you both
that.
launched off the track. I was still on the track, yet I lost the point.
Yeah, but that's not the worst one. The worst was when you tried to ram Phil into a drill to launch off the map, but instead it bounced him back into you and then propelled him, like, I don't know, a million miles an hour down.
Initially.
No,
He drove into the drill, got hit, launched back, hit me, brought me to a dead stop, and then hitting me propelled him forward past the drill.
Yeah.
So for anyone who's not played the old Micro Machines games, the way the multiplayer tends to work is whoever gets ahead of the pack
The furthest point, yeah.
gets a point. Whoever drops back and falls off the screen first is the guy who loses the point. First person to get 8 points wins. And how many times was I on like 7 points and then I'd lose a point?
There's one of those maps where it was going on forever. The amount of times all three of us are going around and it would just sort of teeter towards you went in, then just drop back, the teeter again.
Was it the treetop one where you go over the roof and turn them into the tree fort?
Yeah.
We had a bit of laugh on it, didn't we?
We did. We played quite a few retro games, a lot of the fighters. The Rocket Knight, I saw that and thought, that would just mess me up. However, Bobsy.
Go on.
Bobsy, oh my days. I don't know how Phil ever thought that was a great game. I played it. I couldn't complete the first level. It was horrible.
This was your first time playing the game, wasn't it?
Yes, it was the first time playing a game. I felt like it was too fast for the stage because the stage has a ton of enemies, lots of different obstacles in that, and you're running so fast you can't see what's coming up. So by the time you shoot across the screen, you're dead, and you're like, what?
Yeah, the amount of blind jumps you have to make.
Also, I feel like he's going so fast, you try and react, and it's too slow to react.
So am I vindicated in thinking that I was right, the game is awful?
Yes. We even saw Phil playing it, and I kind of feel like he was dying inside. Yeah. No, we had a lot of fun.
We had a laugh playing some of the old games. So as you mentioned, we played some of the beat 'em ups like Toshinden, Fighting Vipers, Last Bronx.
Yeah.
We played quite a few actually.
I got my ass handed to me. We did. We played quite a lot of them.
Yeah.
I won a couple of matches, but
I made sure not to play Tekken because I am awful at Tekken.
See, that's one game I like and I can't play. And there's one game you wouldn't put on.
In all fairness, you never asked. I didn't even think of trying Tekken.
It's because I know you wouldn't put it on.
I might have had a little go. Right. Just before we get into the news, because this week I haven't got any Sonic news, and I don't want to disappoint you, I thought I would show you some of my pickups that I got this weekend.
Oh, these are 4 pickups you spoke about today.
So I managed to get games that I haven't got, but I kind of have.
No. You just haven't got for different consoles.
Yes, I've got them, just not for this particular console.
There you go.
I've got the absolutely amazing, brilliant masterpiece that is Shadow the Hedgehog. It's absolutely terrible.
That's the biggest form of sarcasm you've ever given me.
Genuinely quite a good Sonic game, Sonic Heroes, on PlayStation 2. And then on the Wii, I got Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing. You can play
Right.
with the Wiimote as a steering wheel. Way. And
No
I
one's
got
played
Sonic
that
Colors,
before.
which I genuinely thought I already had, but I only have on the DS and the Sonic Colors Ultimate.
Okay, so far, where are all these games stored right now?
In the loft.
Oh yeah,
I've
are
moved
they
them
ever
in the
going to come out
loft.
the loft?
Yeah, are you on about me cluttering up the bedroom? Is that what you were trying to imply?
No, what I'm saying is, will they ever see the light of day?
Yes. When Elliot moves out, I get the bedroom back.
All right, so yeah, but no, Elliot, you've got a second child on the way, so
Adoption's a viable option for that.
well, let's say. Every time I think you can't go a step down, you kind of surprise me.
I've told Kerry, we're operating our house like a nightclub. It's one in when one's out.
Okay.
So Elliot, come January, Elliot needs to move out and go get his own place at the tender age of
I'm sure your dad will take him.
4.5.
All right, moving on from that.
Well, let's actually keep it with the retro-ish games at the moment.
Yes, you should.
Because we don't tend to talk about a lot of PlayStation stuff, I personally do like Wonder Boy, hence why I have like 5 copies of them, one of which I'm still waiting on. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Strictly, actually, I can't even remember, Signature Edition or Strictly Limited Games. Can't remember who I bought it from now. It's been so long.
Well, before you start crying, let's jump into what's coming in here.
Anyone who wants to pick up the fantastic Wonder Boy The Dragon's Trap, the Mass System masterpiece, and wants to play it on a PlayStation 5, actually has not one, but 2 remakes that are available to purchase at the moment physically. So you can get the fantastic Wonder Boy The Dragon's Trap by .emu, and that's the one that you played at ours, where it's like the original game, but with this fantastic hand-drawn redo of all the graphics, but the actual underlying game's the same. That's available, and you can get that from Signature Edition Games for about £27, and that's releasing on the 7th of October. So about the time that this podcast will be coming out.
Okay.
Or if you want the more modern reimagining of it, there is the spiritual successor, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, which is about £36 or $39.99. That is available from Limited Run, and the release estimate on their website 5 to 6 months.
It will be a while. It will be a long time. Now, these games, like you said, I did play the Dragon's Trap around your house. It was a fantastic game, and I did really enjoy it. And it's something that I wouldn't mind playing games. I've been enjoying platformers quite a lot recently.
Yeah.
I think, especially when I really got into Ori and the Will of the Wisps, really has kind of reignited a bit of a platformer style enjoyment in me, especially when we played Alex Kidd. I really enjoyed that as well. As much as that was an irritating game for the sliding, it was a great game. Really enjoyed it. So again, this is one that I wouldn't mind playing myself. Unfortunately, these are only coming to the PS5 though.
Well, they are available on other systems, although these physical editions that they're doing at the moment are only for the PlayStation 5. There has been other versions in the past, but they're all sold out.
Kind of wonder why is it only come to the PS5?
Just because there's already been a PlayStation 4 and a Switch issue of this. I don't know if there ever was an Xbox One though. But these are both available to purchase at the moment. And if anyone's interested in getting a lot of Wonder Boy games, the Wonder Boy Anniversary Collection is available from Strictly Limited Games for about £45 and has a lot of these games on there, including some of my favorites like Wonder Boy and Monster World.
Now, you've pre-ordered this, haven't you?
Yes, that's the one I've pre-ordered, which I think is due for delivery between October and December, they've said.
Okay, so between now and December.
And I should get the other game that I unfortunately ordered at the same time, which is being held until this game's ready. Clockwork Aquario, that was it. I actually forgot what it was for a moment. All great games, and I definitely recommend them.
Well, moving on from a retro game on a modern console to just a modern console. There was a trailer which I actually sent across to you, which I got quite excited about.
Yeah, you were very excited about this.
Logitech is releasing a new wireless headset, the Astra A30. Now, the trailer itself was absolutely bonkers. I don't quite get the trailer, and I thought it was very strange. However, sat on a
Because you're
shelf.
not cool, that's why you don't get it.
Well, yeah, probably not hip enough. But there was a white Xbox Series X sat on the shelf behind them.
Now, this obviously must be 100% confirmed that it's definitely coming. Microsoft have put it in there just to tease it ahead of an official announcement. But
Marcus just went, nah. just thought, nope, not doing it, nothing. And Logitech have turned around and said that they just skinned the Xbox. Why?
well, when we were looking at this trailer, we were saying, oh, it's probably just a skinned one because all the other peripherals and that were white. So they probably just skinned it. And if you look at it, you can still see like the black around the disk drive and some of the buttons.
I know, but
I've noticed loads of places like IGN, for example, are like exclusive white Xbox is being released. But it's not.
Now, there is quite a lot of different alterations of an Xbox Series X you can get. So far, the Series S hasn't had any. Or is it just the Halo one? I thought.
I think, as far as I'm aware, off the top of my head right now, I can only think of the
I think there is like some
black
competition ones.
And then, not including the one-offs, like the custom made.
Got you.
I think there's only
just
the
the
Halo
black and the
one.
Halo ones really that I can think of as well.
Yeah.
Tell what I remember. I remember the Xbox 360 having changeable casings.
The faceplate on the front.
You can change the face, but you can actually change the whole case as well, as far as I can remember.
Not officially. I've taken a couple of those cases off. I don't think they're supposed to come off.
But yeah, you can change faceplates, which I thought was quite cool.
I've cut myself a few times getting the casing off the original Xbox 360.
So now I'm not exactly sad it's not coming, but it'd be a quite cool thing.
To be honest, if they were making one, I don't think I'd want a white one. I think I'd want something either a bit brighter, like a blue or a red, or give us something like a bit of a retro throwback, like atomic purple. Slightly transparent. You can see the inside. Oh yeah. Forget everything I've said. Just give me an orange one. Forget everything else I've just said.
Yeah, stop that. Orange, please. That's it.
Orange, please. I'm sure they'll bring out some limited edition consoles soon, but we're only just starting to see Xbox Series X consoles appearing in shops. And this is 2 years after it was released.
Yeah, well, scalpers are finally realizing they're not really going to get anywhere anymore with the consoles. So they're now coming down to a decent price for a PS5 and an Xbox, at least.
Yeah.
Same for Steam Deck. That's now starting to come down to a cheaper price to buy them secondhand.
I went CEX over the weekend. Oh, yeah. And the 64 gig Steam Deck is dropped massively in price. It's only £150 more than buying it brand new.
Oh, geez, no one.
So, yeah, don't buy it from CEX. No, even though I did trade mine in for like nearly £300.
Yeah, but that's because they gave you a ridiculous price for it.
Yeah, I could have sold it for more, though. I'm wondering if the one I saw in there was my Steam Deck still.
Oh, maybe.
Could be. They did have 4 of them.
I think because people saw the same opportunity that you did and thought, stuff this. I'm cashing on that and getting another one.
I must admit, actually, I have been playing my Steam Deck over the weekend. Been enjoying it. Downloaded Halo. Done relatively well in a game of Halo as well. I was made up. And then I played another game the day after and got absolutely trounced.
You were playing on Friday night, weren't you? You played Wreckfest on it.
Yes. Yeah, you were playing on the Xbox, weren't you? At ours. And I was doing it through cloud streaming. Yeah, and it worked well. I absolutely battered you on all but one race. That stupid death loop.
I won the race before that.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, the sort of, I don't know, the weird one where you is like straight and you sort of looped around each other. I beat you just in the last second last lap.
Oh yeah. That
there you
count,
go.
No. That don't count.
What?
Did you actually win any then?
No, you didn't.
Nah, we went on that stupid. What is it called? Death loop.
Yes, Death loop.
That stage hates me.
I never have an issue. It's just you.
Would have just clipped you and it wedged me, and I was like you didn't smash into me and I spun off. You didn't even realize I'd hit you.
No, I didn't. I didn't at all.
I just tapped you, and it just kind of like up, and then none of my wheels were on the floor, and I was like, if I respawn, it's going to put me right round the back of that corner. Anyway, it's a sore subject. I've actually been using my Stream Deck quite a bit for streaming Xbox games. So I've played a little bit of, as you said, Wreckfest, been playing Stardew Valley, Riftbreaker. And it's quite a nice device to be lying in bed and playing Xbox games on. However, if you didn't want something quite as big as the Steam Deck, it looks like there's yet another dedicated streaming device coming out.
Oh, nice little tie-in. Yeah, so Razer, they're decided to throw their hat into the ring yet again with another streaming device.
Yeah, especially after we were talking about the Logitech G Cloud handheld last episode.
Yes, respect for that.
This one might actually fix a lot of the issues we had with Logitech's offering.
It does seem quite a bit more dedicated towards streaming, shall we say. It seems it's called a Razer Blade 5G. It's a 5G device, which would be quite nice. What we know about it so far, so they've turned around and said that it's running a full Snapdragon G3X Gen 1, which is Qualcomm's dedicated gaming chip. Quite an impressive chip to put into it.
Well, yeah, this is what something like the Logitech G Cloud should have had.
Exactly. So why, if it's going to be a dedicated streaming device, why would you not use the best chip you can muster out?
Again, you don't need the most powerful hardware if it's being streaming, because a lot of it's being done server side.
I know.
However, if you are going to play games locally from like the Google Play Store, you do want something a little bit beefier. Although we don't know the full specifications, and we don't even know what the actual device looks like fully, because the little teaser video only shows like little snippets, doesn't it?
Different angles. And
I did notice it does look like it's got 3 shoulder buttons, though.
I know the same thing. It was an M1. I was like, what? It looked like there's 2 bumper buttons and then the triggers underneath it. So, bit of a bizarre layout. I'm intrigued to see what else is there.
Now, this was announced by Verizon at the Mobile World Conference and is actually a partnership for a few companies. So there's Verizon, Razer, and Qualcomm themselves, the chip manufacturer.
And so far, we've only seen a teaser. We'll make sure the teaser in the show notes, but we will see more information at RazerCon on the 15th of October. So not long to wait, and maybe get a release date. You never know. They might decide to drop it just before Christmas.
It looks like it's going to be the year of the handhelds next year, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It definitely does.
I do feel like too many coming out at the exact same time, though. So we've got the Steam Deck now is starting to roll off. I think I read somewhere wait times were down to about 3 weeks now. So if you order one today, you could get one by the end of the month.
Yeah, that's not long at all. My question is, where do you think they'll come in with the pricing? Because I feel they can't go over a Steam Deck.
We messed up on the Logitech G, didn't we?
Oh, we didn't just mess up. We were nowhere near.
Were they like, why? £150? Yeah, not like 350. I'm not like, what? Sorry, what? That sounded like you said 350.
I'm sorry, is this made of gold? Is this?
I think this, I reckon $400.
I think 350.
350. I reckon 400. I feel like Razer kind of has a bit more of a, I'm not saying they're better than Logitech, but has a little bit more of a premium price on their devices. And the fact that you're getting a better chip, and I'm going to guess you probably get more RAM. Plus you get
an OLED screen.
Is it an OLED? I didn't see anything about it.
Yeah, I read it as an OLED.
Oh, right.
So, I don't know. They might come in and sort of undercut Logitech.
We'll see in an episode or two once it's been announced fully, see how close we were. So, go on. Lock it in. I'll say 400. What are you saying?
I'm sticking at 350.
350. Right, we'll see. So it comes out 375. Dead on.
So, best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds. It sounds like the worst of both. Right.
Talk about worst of both worlds. I could tell you who's going through the worst of all. The Activison Blizzard. Oh, my days. Jim Ryan is an umpty. I feel like Microsoft is just going through the ringer with this. They thought, we'll purchase a publisher and we'll look to further increase the gaming industry. No. Jim Ryan is honestly doing what he can to stop it, isn't he?
Yeah, he's throwing his dummy out prom again, isn't he?
Just a tad. Well, it's coming from someone who he turned around and said that he's not really that fussed. If they said they're not really going to get involved, he's flown to Brussels to complain about this.
Yeah, so he's gone to talk to the regulators, and his argument is concentrated on Call of Duty, saying that
Yes,
it's
the one game.
Microsoft purchasing Activision Blizzard and having the rights to Call of Duty will have a negative impact on the entire gaming marketplace. Now, I was thinking when I read that, I was like, oh, right, I understand what it means. I don't agree with it, but I understand. And I thought, no, hang on. It doesn't. It has a negative impact on PlayStation and PlayStation alone.
Yeah, because it's on the PC, PlayStation, and Xbox.
Yeah, so if just say Microsoft went exclusive, it's still going to come to Windows PC, isn't it?
Yes.
Just like Halo does now. So you'll have it on Xbox, you'll have it on streaming, and you'll have it on PC. So it's only PlayStation in that case that would miss out. But I don't think Microsoft would.
Well, no, but that's not the only thing. Microsoft turned around and says it does not make sense for them to remove it off the PlayStation. They would lose money to that.
Yes.
But not only that, they've even stated that they're looking to bring the series to the Switch at some point.
Yes.
So if they stated that they're looking to bring it to Switch and that there'll be a negative impact to take it off, why is he still really going on about this?
I think it's because Microsoft could still remove this from PlayStation in the future. If, say, when the end of this generation finishes, the PlayStation 6 gets announced, then Microsoft might say, well, we agreed we'd keep it with you during the PlayStation 5's lifespan. Now it's finished. We're going to have it all to ourselves.
Again, it makes no sense. The amount of money that game makes and brings in, why would they cut off that revenue?
No, I don't think they will. I don't think
Phil Spencer's not stupid.
Like, don't get me wrong. Call of Duty is one of those games where year after year, it's one of the best-selling games.
Yes.
I think Sony are putting all the faith on this one game.
When they've got a good library of games as it is, they need to focus on their games, not focus on a game which is not theirs at all.
And from Microsoft's point of view, you get this, and your main competitor's paying you millions just to put for the players PlayStation 5 at the end of the advert.
Yeah.
It's free money.
No, exactly, because it's their publisher, they're making it. It's like
you sell it on the PlayStation store, $50, 50 quid, whatever. Sony keeps 20 quid. You keep 30, or you get everyone to come over to Game Pass and pay you $11.99 a month or whatever it is.
yeah, sorted. Well, no. What it is I just don't think Jim Ryan wants to see everyone who launches the Call of Duty games to see Xbox.
Xbox Game Studios.
Yeah, exactly. It's all he just doesn't want to see that.
But likewise, he also doesn't like it when you go, oh, what's this new game on Game Pass? Or, oh, what's this new baseball game on the Switch? And he goes, PlayStation Studios. That's really weird seeing that on the Switch.
It is. It's very strange. The thing is, though, PlayStation is not the only ones who have complained about this, are they?
No, and considering what our final piece of news today is, this one seems very bizarre.
Yeah, it just seems very redundant, doesn't it? So, before we move into the last bit of news, we're not going to go too much here, but so Google have raised concerns themselves about Microsoft. If they did purchase Activision Blizzard, they're saying that they'll have a monopoly in the game streaming space. Now, you see why we think it's stupid when we move on.
Yeah, this is really stupid, and I think most people all know what's coming up with this last piece of news. But really quick, I can see what they're meaning. You know, there's already 100+ games on Xbox game streaming, and if then you pull in all these Activision and Blizzard games, you've already got EA access included on the Xbox.
Well, on Saturday morning after yours, I came back and was actually staying over at my in-laws' house. So I woke up in the morning and I was down with the kids, and I was like, I've got nothing to do. They've got a Series S. So I just put my account on and just streamed Immortals Phoenix Rising and played that for a good hour and a half off the streaming.
Do you know what I was playing actually on game streaming the other day? And I would never buy this game. That Disney Animal Crossing ripoff. I can't think what it's called.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought, I'll see what this is like. It's got on Game Pass. So I'll do that. Scrooge McDuck is fantastic alternative to Tom Nook, little miser.
He's like, doing
oh, I need your help to repair my workshop. Just give me all your money so I can repair my shop. And you're like, wait, hang on a minute. This isn't help. He's like, you're investing in it. I'm like, well, what am I getting out of it? You can actually ask, what do I get for my investments? And he goes, you can buy more stuff from me. I'm like, right, okay.
You pay me so I can sell you more stuff.
Exactly,
that sounds just about right.
Before we get on to our final piece of news for this episode, we'd like to ask for your support. The easiest way you can do this, which is free, everyone likes things that are free, especially Scrooge McDuck, is by giving us a review on your favourite podcasting app. It'll take you 2 minutes and it's a massive help for us.
Now, going from something free to something that costs, but only £1 a month, you can visit our Patreon, where you can receive early and ad-free versions of the podcast. And we will even give you a shout out in the next episode.
Now, the big news. Out of nowhere, Google has announced it is shutting down Stadia. The future of gaming is dead.
People kind of said when this has been announced, oh, I'll be dead in a couple of years. And like, no, we promise you will not be dead in a couple of years. It's now dead. That's it.
But even up till a couple of weeks ago, someone asked them, is Stadia in trouble? And they're like, no, it's doing great. It'll be here for the long term.
Yeah, so that dedication didn't last long as slightest.
Well, this is Google. This is Google.
Yeah.
So this is already up on the Google graveyard.
Is it?
Yes. And the thing is, though, it's not even the most recent thing that they've killed off that's on there.
Oh, is it not?
No, it's like the third or fourth thing in the list. There's a couple of things above it.
So Stadia servers will shut down on the 18th of January. So you do have a bit of time to complete any games you've started, and we want to finish off. But it doesn't really give that much time.
I suppose on the plus side, though, Google have announced that anyone who's bought any hardware, like Google Stadia controllers, or any games through Google Stadia, will get a full refund for them. It doesn't include your subscription, but includes any games purchased plus any controllers.
That's going to cost them millions.
Yeah, but I think they've just come to the conclusion, this is cheaper. We're going to have to refund that 6 people that actually use the service fully, and then we can just get shut of it.
Now, obviously, they've turned and said that they're shutting all these servers, and there's a lot of companies that are kind of trying to get the bearings, because a lot of people did not know this is happening until they announced it, and I was like, well, hang on a second. We've got games dedicated. We're making games for this. Just quickly, Ubisoft, on their official Twitter page, did announce that they are working to bring any games that people bought from the Stadia store across to the PC and playable via Ubisoft Connect. So Ubisoft's trying to work something out and trying to transfer the data and the save across, so they can still play it on Ubisoft Connect. It's just figuring out how it works.
The issue people are having as well is some of these games they've spent, in some cases, hundreds or thousands of hours playing.
Yeah.
And yeah, fair enough, they'll get $60 back for the cost of a game, but they're going to lose the save. They're going to lose all that progress, all that time invested in these titles.
I know, but that's not the biggest kick in the teeth. Obviously, people are definitely going to be losing all that.
It is. I would rather lose $60 and have to rebuy a game than lose 1,000 hours worth of my time.
I get it, but I think I'm thinking more towards the publishers that I've lost out here.
Well, it seems that a lot of these developers, as you mentioned, making games for Stadia still, and even some of the Stadia staff only found out about this when Google announced it. There was no forewarning.
Whoa, I knew about the developers, but I didn't know about the staff themselves. Didn't find out until it got announced.
Yeah, some of them did. Even the ones that learned it ahead of time. It was only just ahead of time when they said, oh yeah, can you jump into this call like tomorrow? We're going to discuss the future of Stadia. And all them were like, oh yeah, what new features are they pushing out next? They went, yeah, it's dead.
Flipping heck. Well, it's one thing to cut in a jar for developers. I think that is a pretty crappy thing to do, but for the staff themselves, think of a better way to do it. Treat them better. This is ridiculous.
It's honestly, Stadia has ended the same way it began, in an absolute farce.
Yeah. Well, because it took months for people who had pre-ordered the controls and app to receive them.
they'd pre-purchased the controller plus the Chromecast Ultra, which at the time was the only way to get it in 4K on your TV. Even if you had another Chromecast Ultra, it wouldn't work. It had to be the one in this bundle. Plus the subscription. And they couldn't even get on. And those that could get on, the lag was terrible. In some cases, apparently, it was as long as like 3-4 seconds between pressing a button and getting an action on the screen.
There's one thing that gaming companies can take away from this. Don't do streaming like Stadia. They've just, from the very start, shot themselves in the foot, especially in a very predominant time when streaming games was kind of a necessity for the sparsity of consoles.
They could not have launched Stadia at a better time. The now current gen, but at the time, next generation consoles were almost impossible to get hold of for most people.
Yeah.
It was a pandemic where everyone had to stay indoors, and even PC gamers were stuck because the cost of GPUs were skyrocketing because of crypto miners. The issue is, I think Google just rocked up with this, and technically, I think it was a sound idea. It was just not ready when it did launch. And assume because they were Google, everyone would buy into it.
I guess it just kind of goes to show that you can't just play off the name. You need to put something behind it. You need to put things in place.
But the thing is, streaming can work. The only dedicated streaming service that I've used is Shadow. And I've used it quite a lot. And quite often I forget I'm even streaming. You know, the experience is of such a high quality. Now, this is a company that does not have anywhere near the resources that Google has available to them.
Yeah.
And they can make it work. As far as I'm aware, GeForce Now is really good and makes it work. As I mentioned earlier, although it's not the main reason most people get Game Pass, Xbox Cloud streaming is really good.
Oh,
again, when I was playing Wreckfest with you, and we were both sharing the same internet connection, except I was streaming it and you were just playing online on the Xbox, it felt like a native experience.
I was streaming it as well, wasn't I? It had an update, and I uninstalled it and played it off the streaming.
Oh, did you? Yeah, I think you did.
We both
actually
streamed it.
Oh, right,
so
fair enough.
Both streaming
so there we go. We're both streaming it on a relatively modest broadband connection. It's not as if I'm on like gigabit internet or anything.
No. Yeah, I remember because I tried to play it, had like a 30 gig update, and you went uninstall it, and so I did, and we just played it that way.
Yeah, I didn't have any issue. And they were both over Wi-Fi.
No, not a single one.
So it can work.
I'm guessing Google just didn't put the right resources in place to really give them the reliability that the service should have had.
Yeah. I think it was just down to bad planning at the end of the day. Because over the last, less than 3 years, it has improved. And they've got more games on there. You know, you got things like Red Dead Redemption 2, Cyberpunk. So you got like really big games on there as well. But I think one thing that made people really hesitant against it was, I know if I buy a game on, say, Game Pass, for argument's sake, say Wreckfest. I've bought Wreckfest. It's also on game streaming. I can play it locally on an Xbox, but I can also stream it. I've got multiple ways. If Microsoft go, oh yeah, we're not doing this streaming thing anymore, I'm like, I'll be gutted, maybe a bit angry, but I can still download and play it on an Xbox console.
Yeah.
Stadia had nothing.
No.
If Stadia goes, you lose your games,
service.
which is what's happening now. Now, they are refunding you, but again, the time investment into them. Now,
exactly.
I think Rockstar have said they are looking for a way of letting you transfer your saves across, and there are a few workarounds to do that with Stadia as well.
I think Activision and Bungie said the same thing about the Destiny game as well. So a lot of companies are putting things in place to help out.
Yeah, but it's falling on companies like Bungie, Ubisoft, Activision Blizzard to pick up the pieces of what Google's done. Google have just gone, that's it, we're done kind of thing.
We're out in a few months. If you did get a sort by then, tough luck.
Exactly. And going back to some of the things that we were mentioning before with developers making games, and I'm finding out it's getting shut down in a couple of months.
Yeah.
A lot of them were saying they had games due for release in like November or next year, and they were making them exclusive for Stadia on the promise that when they launch, they'll get reimbursed for them. Well, are they still going to be reimbursed? The ones that are due out for next February, March, April won't.
I doubt it.
A lot of these are just indie game developers. It's not big
I know.
companies that can kind of take the hit financially. A lot of them are saying our survival as a company depended on getting this game out on Stadia and then getting reimbursed by Google for it.
Google's just done this a very, very crappy way. And
yeah,
it's going to leave a bad taste in people's mouth for quite a while.
I definitely think.
Unfortunately, this is Google's name on this. It's Google who's going to get the flack.
It's another black mark against Google, isn't it?
Yes.
If Google come out with another, I don't know, service or something that might look amazing, I'd still be hesitant. I'd be thinking, do you know what though?
I know no one will buy it.
That service looks amazing, but do I really want to trust Google to still have it in service 2-3 years down the line?
No. Google could have done it a lot better. They could have.
Well, they couldn't have done it much worse.
Google have shot themselves in the foot, and I feel like they'll never be able to recover in the gaming industry.
Yeah, would you trust them even if they brought out a console now, a Google console? Would you trust buying it and purchasing games?
No, if they turn around and release this amazing console at a ridiculously cheap price, promising all these things, obviously all the bells, all the whistles, I would just be like, no, there's no chance. I would not buy into anything that Google releasing after what they've done. It's going to leave such a bad taste in people's mouths. When I was reading some of the comments on Twitter when Ubisoft said about being able to bringing games across to Ubisoft Connect from Stadia, a lot of gamers were hitting out against Stadia about shutting down. But what about my saves? What about this? What about that? And I was like, well, hang on. It's not their fault, and they're just trying to do something to help.
Yeah.
There's a lot of angry gamers out there, which I can understand why.
Out of curiosity, with the exception of maybe before a YouTube video, did you ever see any advertising for Stadia?
No.
I certainly can't remember any. And to be honest, I can't really remember much on YouTube, if anything, maybe when it first launched.
I remember hearing about it, but that's it. I remember seeing a couple of trailers, but not much at all.
I only ever heard about it because people's starter packs were delayed by months, or when they got them, it didn't work, or there was this massive lag, it was unplayable. I never heard anything positive about
good.
it.
No. But I said that all I ever heard was negative.
That's not to say that it didn't become a good service after a few months, but I feel like there was no sort of like advertising for it. I bet you I could go and ask, say, my brother and go, oh, do you know what Google Stadia is? And he'll probably go, at best, oh, is it the thing that's shutting down? And at worst, he'll go, no, I've not got a clue.
It's been riddled with issues from the very start. It didn't have a great start, and it's not having a great end.
No.
The amount of money that people have poured into this, and it's just gone to a pit.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, ultimately, it's the amount of money that Google have plowed into it that's being wasted, since they're refunding at least for the software and hardware sales.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that not too many developers have to shut down from it.
No. And hopefully we'll get some of the games, because there are a couple of exclusive games that are on Stadia that aren't anywhere else at the moment. One of which, Pixel Junk Raiders, they have said, due to the shutdown, they are going to look at bringing it to other platforms, maybe something like Steam, I would imagine.
Well, I don't see why not. If they've worked that hard on a game and they want to bring it out somewhere, why not try and push onto another console? I'm sure if they pitched it right, another console would pick it up. Or if anything, chuck onto Steam.
They've just done it in a really bad way.
Yes.
Anyone who wants to continue using the service can do until the 18th of January, as you mentioned earlier.
Unless you only if you want to lose your save.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Otherwise, jump ship, go somewhere else.
I might give it a go, see if there's a free game or something that I can maybe jump in. Because I noticed the website's still up and you can still buy the starter packs and bits.
Let's say, as if that should be gone first. As soon as that was announced, that it's shutting it down, they should have closed that down.
Yeah.
I guess it's to try and see if someone wants to purchase it and then you get a refund before the end.
And just think, these are the same people who were complaining about Microsoft having too many games on the cloud streaming service. and
Yeah.
that they didn't want them to become a monopoly. So what did they do? They go, oh, I know, we'll just remove ourselves from the competition.
Well, that were 2p, but we are leaving the competition. So,
Well, this also explains why we didn't see Google Stadia listed as one of the integrated titles on the Logitech G Cloud gaming handheld thing.
yeah, they were like, "Yeah, we're not going to be much longer." So, take us involved.
Right. Well, that's it. We've come to the end of an episode.
It is. It's a very sour note to end it on, but we've been the Retro Gaming Dads, and we'll catch you next time. Because we played, what game was it that we played on one of our gaming?
Alex Kidd.
Alex Kidd, yeah.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yes.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Especially when we played Alex Kidd.